initially, when you put together your graph, it comes with a certain set of colors, kind of like a color scheme in a way. And it also starts off with a number of different features added to it, different elements and so forth. So what I want to show you in this video is how to change the overall coloring on this, as well as applying what we call styles that allow us to add and remove custom packages of features to our graph. So we're going to start out with the simple one with the coloring. All right, so as you can see here, we have a certain set of colors, whatever it is, right? Now, if you click onto the graph, we have this little button right here. And when you click on, well, you can't really see it. Let me just move it over here a little bit here. When you point to it here, when you point to it there, it comes up as chart styles, okay? So that's what we're looking at here. Now, I'm going to click onto that, all right? And we're going to go here to color first, okay? So I'm going to click on the color, and these are the different palettes that we have available. So currently we're on that first one. That's what you're seeing right now. But as you hover over the other ones, you can kind of see how we get different sets of coloring. It's more or less just the same color in different shades, all right? Quite a few of them. And then you have the multicolors, more like this one here, or colorful, I guess they call it. So that's about as easy as it gets. All right, just find a color that you want, pick it, go for it. I'm going to stick with my original one for now. And now the other area we have is the style. Now if I click on a style, all right, you'll see a number of different collections of elements that we can add or not have on our graph. All right, and you can kind of see all these. So the way to kind of go through it to see which one might be of interest, something that you might want to enhance your current graph with, you can kind of hover over it. So you can see, like right now, we're kind of on the first style there. Go to this one here, a little bit different. This one here, way different. Now I kind of bring this down a little bit. We've got this one here, got that one, and on. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. So you can do it like that. You can either, pick something, and I'll just kind of click onto it like that, and now that is your new, kind of your new look. Now, the other way you can do this is you're on the graph, all right? You go back into design, and you'll see all your styles appear here. And we're going to actually bring this up. Actually, if we hit the more button here, then you can kind of see them all. But again, you can kind of hover over these things and get that as well. All right. So, I don't know, not much excitement on that one, but still, if you're just trying to get just a little different look, I mean, something like this would be pretty wild. I mean, you click on a style number 7 here. What do you got? That's pretty interesting. Now, once you've picked that, then you can go back and maybe go back into your elements and start adding elements. So you might say, well, I'd like to have maybe a legend, so I'll put my legend in there, and I think I'll make the legend, put the legend at the top, let's say. There it is. Maybe I want to go with a data table, so I'll click on the data table. There's my data table. So you can add those things, but the main thing is it kind of really changes the coloring and the structure of your graphic that's being used in the graph. And what you also have up on the ribbon here is the change colors, and of course there's your same colors that we had in there as well. So I can go back in there and play around with that a little bit if I wanted to. All right, find different set of colors, whatever. So, all right, so that's about it. That's about how it works there. Now, while we're on the subject, let me kind of show you something here. I'm going to go back and change my style back to my kind of like my original one that I had there. So I'll do that. I'm going to get rid of the the data table. I don't really need that. And I'll put the legend up at the top. All right. So what I can also do is I can individually change the coloring of the bars in this case. All right. Now, if I click on, let's say for instance, I look at it and I say, well, the gray isn't really doing much for me. All right. The rest of them are pretty colorful. That's just gray. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on to one of the gray bars. Now the gray bar is Igor in this case, right? I click on to one of them and that whole family or series becomes selected. From that point, then I can actually either go into Format, go to where I have my shape fill, and hover over the colors until I try to find, or until I do find one that I think would be maybe a better pick. Maybe I want to go with the green or maybe a lighter green or whatever. But I can do that. All right. I can also make it stand out a little bit more by changing the outline and maybe make the outline of it black. So you can see what happens there with the black. I've got other colors as well that I can do, right? So if I went with the black, that would be kind of cool. What we're trying to do here is just, change the overall coloring of one of my series. That's all we're doing here. Now, what if there was a specific category or a specific, series, specific person on a specific month that has a bar that's worth mentioning or worth looking at? And let's just say it was this one right here, okay? And this happens to be what? This is a Beavis in October. And let's just say that we want to maybe bring attention to this because last year Beavis was way down at, let's say, 2,000. And for some reason this year in the same month, way up there. All right, so we want to make that kind of stand out. So what you would do here is we'd click one time on the bar. Now that whole series, that whole family of Beavis becomes selected. But then if we click it again, now we're targeted on just that specific bar. And now we can go back in there and change the way it looks. All right, make it kind of stand out from all the other ones. Now, what I could do there is I can go to the shape fill. I can go here and I can find a texture. These are pretty wild textures, by the way. These are the same textures that we've had for the last 30 years in this program. I love the dead fish here, right? That fossil, the fish fossil here. I can pick something like that. I've got wonderful 1970s paneling down here. Right. So I think this is where Microsoft has really kind of dropped the ball on the textures. You'd think that, they come up with some more modern stuff here. We've got cloth, up close cloth. We've got water drips. We've got some countertops here. But anyway, you find one that you might want. You think maybe that might be kind of cool. So I'll pick the fish, all right? So there's the fish look. You can see the fish kind of stretched out there. If that doesn't do it for you, you can also go back into the fill and just pick a completely different color. Maybe just go completely, blue or black or something like that. Make it stand out, all right? So we can, click onto that and do that if we wanted to. Another thought might be that you could go back and say, okay, I'll go with a, maybe I'll pick kind of the same color that that we had for that one, which I think would be the blue. So we'll go back to maybe the blue here, or close to it, let's say, all right? And then what we could do is go back in there again into the fill, go down into the gradient, or the texture, I'm sorry, go to the texture here, go down to where it says more textures, and go to the pattern fill and do something like this in there, see? So you might want to go with the stripes, horizontal, vertical, diagonal, whatever. Click onto it and get something like that, see? I'll just close that up. So you do that, and that would might be the best way to go. Now, one more thing, the background of the entire chart here is pretty much just a white background. What we can actually do is double click that. Just back here, just double click it. That opens up into this format chart area. And right now, the fill of it is set for automatic, which is just white. All right. If I go and tell it no fill, what it does is it makes that white go away, makes it go transparent, and you basically just see the background of the worksheet. I can go to solid fill, do something like that, find a color that I like to have. I wouldn't want that, but we'll pretend. And then you can also then go ahead and make it transparent if you want to do that. The other thought is you can go with gradient, and this is where you kind of pick your different colors that you want to go with. So they've got preset gradients that you can go with, where we can find a color that might look good and kind of do something like that. You can actually adjust the stops here so that you can have that color take up different areas. You can also, while you're on one of the stops, let's say this yellow one here, go here and change that color to a different color, all right, and do something like that, and then adjust that to fit the way you want it to look. Go to this one here, this one here, go with maybe a yellow on that. I know, it looks horrendous, doesn't it? All right, so anyway, those are your gradients, all right? You can also, which is my favorite, put a picture back there, all right? There's our little island, the big island getting eaten up by volcanic events here. I can go there and I can click on the file. Let's go on my desktop here. And we will pick, let's say, this one here. That's more like it. All right, the backyard. All right, so there it is on that. Now, that might be a little rich. So what you can actually do is you can kind of make that transparent. Kind of lighten it up a little bit in the background there. And have that. So a lot of stuff you can do with that. But that's pretty much your basics of it. You can kind of go through those a little bit more detail on your own and take a look at that. But that's pretty much how that all works as far as the coloring and styles and so forth. So hopefully you can start using some of these for what you're doing on your charts, graphs, whatever. All right. So hopefully you like this video, and I appreciate you watching. Take care. Mahalo.